Oh man, I don't know if you can. All right, we good? We good? Let's see. Um, testing, testing. Let me know in the chat if y'all can hear me. If anyone's here. Actually, let me put this here now that I am. All right. How y'all doing on this wonderful Monday? Yeah. Man, this one's. Why is this one so close? Jeez. All right, how y'all doing today? We good? We good? It's a happy Monday, right? Happy Monday, start of a new week. Supposedly, that's what they say. I'm over here jumping around all over the place. Okay, so you know what's crazy? Nah, no problem, man. I appreciate you hopping on, and even if it's for a few minutes, because I'm just gonna be on for a few minutes too. You know what's crazy though? With all of the streaming and podcasting and content creation, things that I've hosted, things that I've been a guest on, it's almost like you forget how to do it after a while, and it's almost like you got to go through the whole process again. But we're good. We are live. Like I said, it's also probably because I'm in a new spot. So if you have watched my streams and stuff before, you'll notice that we are in a different area. I am actually in my Esports and Technology Center, Alpha Esports and Technology. So I am setting up the streaming stuff from over here and trying to get everything going. I look forward to being back in the Wolf Den. DJ, what's up? I finally see who it just came through. I plan on being back in the Wolf Den really soon with InfoSec Unplugged. But right now, I am just getting everything going here. So it's been a wild ride. We are getting ready for. Well, we're actually got a couple things going on. I'm getting ready to go to a high school esports practice and go talk to them over there. And then also we're getting ready for our Monday event for Girls Game 2 that we do every Monday. And we have a guest speaker. So Jasmine Randolph from Team Inferno will be joining us to speak to the young ladies in the group, or the ladies in the group, I should say, about her experiences and things that she does with content creation and video editing and developing and just everything that she's involved with. So that should be exciting. And yeah, we're just kind of getting things going. So like I said, just wanted to hop on here. I'm waiting for a couple people to join because I said I wanted to do a Q&A session. So looking to see if anybody is going to join here just yet so we can get to the Q&A session. I want to, I felt like sharing today or getting some things off of my chest, or I don't know. Hopefully I don't get in trouble. I've been feeling the type of way about some stuff going on lately, but I'm gonna behave myself. I'm gonna be good. I'm just gonna kind of rock with it and see what happens, and this too shall pass. So, but anyway, let's see if we got anything in the chat so far. Hey, yep, X. I'm doing good. I can't, like I said, I can't complain. Living the dream, I guess. So, noticing that there seems to be just a little bit. I want to fix the focus on the camera, but yeah, like I said, just wanted to hop on here. So if anybody has any questions for me, it can be gaming related, it can be tech or cybersecurity related, it can be I guess personal questions to a certain extent, as long as you keep it clean and respectful. We can do that. So let me know where y'all are talking, where y'all hitting me from. If you haven't done so already, you can like whatever channel it is you're watching this on, subscribe, and yeah, just show some love. So like I said, I'm gonna answer a couple questions before I head out to this esports practice. Chad, what's going on? I haven't seen you in a minute, man. Got to get back to the CTF stuff, which I'm gonna be announcing something really soon. So I don't want to say nothing too soon until I just kind of figure out a plan. I'm thinking about whether or not I'm going to actually just create a whole content thing about it, or around it, or if I'm just going to talk about it. We'll see. Like I said, I'm a little out of practice. It's been, InfoSec Unplugged. The last InfoSec Unplugged was May, and I've just been trying to build out this center and stuff. So Kentucky, okay. So we got New Orleans, we got Kentucky. Oh, you still working on the OSCP stuff? Okay, man. Good luck with that. I've heard they've made a lot of changes to it. I don't know if I'm doing any search. Actually, no, I lie. I'm probably going to be doing finally taking on that API Security University. So shout out to API Sec and the team over there with the certification and stuff that they've worked on and that they've done. So I'll probably get that and maybe some more cloud stuff, and then just gonna take a real deep dive into AI and automation for the end of the year. So I see someone says they are debating on the CISSP or CEH. They'll pay for either one. Lance, I would say it all depends on what you want to do and how much experience you have. If you are fairly new to the game, I would probably go with the CEH. And I'm glad you said that they are paying for it, because I would tell you not to get the CEH if you had to pay for it out of your own pocket. Just my personal opinion. But if you've been in it for a while, and then I would say go for the CISSP. I know there's a misconception that people should just go for the CISSP when you're getting into security. That's false. The CISSP, ISC squared, literally tells you that you should have at least 5 years of experience. So that's what I would say. I would say it just depend on how much experience you have and what exactly you want to do. The CEH, like I said, the CEH is cool because jobs still look for that in pen testing. Yeah, I heard the material's a lot better, Chad. Oh, you have to be a follower for a month, Rick. Okay, well, I hope you followed. I hope you follow. You've been following, and then you can comment next month. But I'm glad you're here. So, but yeah, man. Like I said, it all depends on what you're going for, or how long you've been in it. If you're not, if you're fairly new, I would not go with the CISSP. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're fairly new to pen testing, period, I would say look at a couple other things. Depending, again, it just depends on your experience and what you have. Looking forward to the class Saturday. Yes, thank you, man. Thank you for the support. For the class on Saturday, we are doing an introduction to ethical hacking. I should probably put that in the chat. But yeah, we're doing an introduction to ethical hacking class on Saturday. It's going to be about a 3.5-hour workshop. We're going to go over, basically we're going to go from the beginning. We're going to go into what is ethical hacking and penetration testing. We're going to go into the differences between doing it legally and illegally. We're then going to go into how to learn it, and you're going to walk away from this workshop. You're going to walk away with your own penetration testing lab. You're going to know where to get more machines if you need to create your own lab, and also just getting some insight on some of the things that we do from a pen testing standpoint. So it's going to be a great workshop. Let me just put it in here. I'll put it in this chat right here. Hold on one second. I'm trying to. Why won't the links work? Like, it's crazy when you don't have your own, when you have to get acclimated into a new space. Like, I haven't been streaming out of here outside of doing some gaming stuff, and there we go. So there's the link to the Eventbrite link to the introduction to ethical hacking class if anyone is interested. I would say, again, this is for people who are looking to get an introduction to hands-on stuff. Again, we're going to go through some CTF stuff only because that is the best way to practice legally. You don't want to touch any targets that you don't have permission to touch. So we're gonna build out our own labs. We're going to go and walk through a couple of the machines, and then we're gonna continue on with the different phases of a pen test and everything like that. So whether you are just getting into pen testing or you need a refresher or anything, I think this is a good course for you. And again, we're condensing it down to 3.5 hours, about 3.5 hours. I expect this to be the first of many, and then we'll kind of go through each phase, and we'll probably go through some advanced stuff leading into 2024, or probably starting in 2024. We'll do some advanced stuff, and then we'll get to my specialty, which is API hacking and API pen testing, probably somewhere in the spring. So again, if you are interested, you can click that link and sign up. If you are local to the Georgia area or the North Georgia area, or you want to come see it in person, we'll be hosting it here live out of the center. That's 1300 Peachtree Industrial Boulevard, Suite 3109 in Sewanee, Georgia. And if you want to do it virtually, you can also connect, because we'll be doing it via Zoom. So right now we have I think we have a few seats left live, because I wanted to do, if you're doing it here in person, I wanted to kind of make it like a little, a small crowd. But if you're interested in that, just click the link and then you can pick which option you want. So again, I hope that helps. And then I saw Lance commented again about where they are. So you said you've been in IT for about 4 years and you want to pivot into security now. Or you pivoted into security for a year. All right. Hold on. Man, it's crazy. The spam that the spamming and phishing. Is it just me, or is everybody getting spammed and phished? It seems like to a larger extent. And in this month, especially with it being Cybersecurity Awareness Month, like the phishing emails and text messages and malicious or suspicious links I've been getting all month has been crazy, especially since I started streaming again. I started streaming some of my esports and gaming stuff, and I've been getting blown up ever since. And it's crazy because when I'm doing my cybersecurity podcast, or what I was doing InfoSec Unplugged and all the other stuff around there, I wasn't really getting it. But now that I jumped into the gaming realm, I'm getting spam messages from people who are pretending to be famous or popular gamers and streamers. I'm getting links about. I just got a link now about, hey, there's a QLED that's still in your cart. I have not shopped for a QLED. I'm not shopping for a new TV right now. I keep getting stuff from Meta's security saying that I'm breaking all type of copyright stuff when I'm not even doing anything that's infringing on anybody's copyrights. So it's really weird. But again, happy Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Don't click any links that you find suspicious, even if it looks like it come from somebody. Trust but verify. I mean, I get stuff that says it's from my wife or my mother, and I'm like, all right, cool. Text my wife, text my mom. Hey, did you send me an email? Did you send me this text message? Because it doesn't look like it's you, or it doesn't sound like it's you. So again, trust but verify. If you get something from a bank, never go to the website that is on that email from the bank, or never call that telephone number. Google it and make sure you Google it first and get the right number. So, it's just really weird. Let's see, where are we at? And I see someone said, oh yes, Marcus Bully referred you. Yeah, shout out to Marcus, man. He's a good dude. He was actually the winner of my Nintendo Switch giveaway last month. But before that, he is a wealth of knowledge. He's a really intelligent brother. I've interviewed him probably about three times by now. I think I interviewed him once on my show on InfoSec Unplugged. I interviewed him again when I did Hacker Valley Blue, and I want to say he was a panelist on one of my other talks. But like I said, Marcus is a great guy. Shout out to him. And yeah, like I said, do you have any good books to recommend? It depends. It depends on what you're trying to do. If security stuff, the crazy part is I haven't really read too many security books lately. But personal books, I'm in the process of reading Automate Your Busy Work, and then I am rereading Atomic Habits. So those are the two books I'm reading currently. Napalm, what's going on? Yes, it has been a long time. Yeah, like I said, so those are the two books I'm reading currently. But as far as cybersecurity books right now, it just depends on what you're looking to do. So again, Hacking GraphQL was a good one that I think I've read. I read a while back. Yeah, like I said, I haven't really. Crazy thing is that I just really haven't been doing anything new with the cybersecurity stuff lately, outside of doing some. No, I take it back. I did read some stuff on AI. I just can't remember the name of the book. But yeah, like I said, I think I've been focusing on AI, cloud, and API stuff in the beginning of the year. And then when I started building out this center, my focus has been on, just being a better coach and teacher and mentor. So I've been reading like a lot of, self-help books, or, listening to a bunch of audio books and podcasts and stuff like that, because that's a lot of what I'm doing now with the esports and gaming center that I have here. So actually, I'll give y'all, for those who haven't seen it yet, I got the things off right now, but I'll do a slow pan. And we'll come back around. Got the vending machine in the back. All right, so that's what I've been working on. Like I said, we officially opened up, our soft opened last month, and then we've been working at, just kind of getting more people and more butts in the seats and stuff like that. So again, we're hosting our intro to ethical hacking class here on Saturday. I plan on doing a Raspberry Pi building class where we're going to build different things. Hint, hint, retro gaming machine. Hint, hint. I probably have some stuff around Python and game design. I'm doing a lot of stuff with the Fortnite and the Unreal Engine. I have a lot of stuff coming up with that. We have, for my Rainbow Six people, we got a Rainbow Six Esports League coming up right in time for the championships that are happening here at the Gas South Arena next month. Probably do some different tournaments. So we got a lot of things in the works. Again, with gaming and technology, and for those who are wondering if that was by design, yes it was, because the goal is to use gaming to open up more engaging conversations around tech, or what we call the ecosystem around esports, where you can learn about different jobs that are in the gaming field or the esports world, and that don't necessarily require you to actually play the game. There's coaches, there's managers, there's shoutcasters that do the play-by-play announcing, there's a production team, there's the tech team, there's cybersecurity, media, audio. There's just so many things around it, and like I said, it's an untapped resource full of jobs, and people are just kind of looking at it from the standpoint of gaming with that old mentality that gaming rots your brain. So Maddox, what's going on? Thanks Ricky, thanks Napalm. So that's kind of where I started with that. If you remember back in 2019 or 2020, I did my hacking and gaming talk where we talked about where we used Fortnite to kind of teach some of the basic concepts of penetration testing. I'm still doing that. As a matter of fact, I'm redoing that talk. So that's going to be another interesting one, because the idea for it, I'm not going to say what my idea for it is, because every time I say something, someone beats me to it. Yes, 2020. Thank you, Maddox. So every time I say it, somehow someone has the same idea and beats me to it. So I'm not going to reveal my plan for that talk just yet. But like I said, I'm super excited about that. So yeah, I've been sitting on this idea since 2020. Literally, when I finally gathered up the strength to say, hey, let's do it, like a week later, everything got locked down. So I gave the talk before that, and then I kept saying, man, I want to do it, I want to do it, I want to do it. And I just didn't feel like the time was right, or I didn't have the right resources. So I just kept finding different ways to kind of back out of it. And then I finally said I was going to do it. And then COVID happened, and then I got scared all over again. And then I had the brilliant idea to start it up this year. And there have definitely been some challenges along the way. But, we're here now. So anybody else have any other questions? Let me see. Let me scroll through everything here. Make sure I didn't skip anything or anybody. Nope, we're good. All right, cool. So yeah, like I said, if anybody has any other questions for me, man, like I said, let me know. I kind of miss doing these. I haven't been able to, hold on. I'll be honest with you. I was just reading an email. This is the type of stuff that, like the email I just read, is kind of the reason why I was so hesitant to kind of get a brick and mortar business and do that. But anyway, moving right along. So I don't even remember what I was saying before that. That email just kind of pissed me off. Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember what I was doing. Anyway, so what is everybody's plan for the week? Let's just move forward. It'll probably come back to me when I after I talk a little bit more. Oh yeah. Going forward, the plans without revealing too much. Yeah, like I said, I have a lot of things that I've been working on and been thinking about, and I just want to kind of actually be able to get a chance to execute it, man. Like I said, I've gotten so the last few years, building out the my quote unquote brand and doing everything with InfoSec Unplugged and then Hacker Valley Blue and all of that. It's been it's been crazy. Let's see. It says, I missed. Yeah, definitely. I miss doing these streams. I miss doing these Q&A sessions. Like I said, it's been a lot going on. And then I see you say, yeah, you said the slow mode. I'm gonna fix that. I had to make some changes to that because unfortunately, anything you do sometimes gets met. Well, anything you do gets met with some type of opposition or trolls or haters or whatever. So you need to make sure we do that so that we can kind of catch things before it gets out there. And then I see you're doing. Okay, Rick, you said you're studying for the PMPT. Yeah, that's definitely a great. That's a really good certification to go for. I'll be honest with you. If you're doing the PMPT, do you really need to do the CEH as well? So going back to what we were talking about before, if you're about 4 years in the game and a year in cybersecurity, and now you're doing the PMPT, your job's going to pay for it. If you go get the CISSP and you don't have enough experience to speak to each of the modules that you'll learn in CISSP, you'll get ISE Square will give you what is known as the basically the associates of CISSP, and then what happens is you have it, but you don't have the full version of it, and then you will get once you do have all the experience, then you'll get the full CISSP certification. So I usually talk people. I'm usually against it if you don't have the experience. But like I said, if you're doing you're doing the PMPT. If you do the PMPT and you already did the junior penetration testing module, honestly, you probably already have a lot of what it takes to get the CEH. You're a network security engineer, and now you're a cyber threat analyst, and now you're looking to transition over to the red team. That makes sense. that make at least to me it makes a lot of sense. Chad says, don't do the CEH in the United States if it's for the government. Get the CISA Plus or the CYSA Plus instead. It fills the same boxes on the 8570 and more. That's also a very good point. Especially if you're doing the PMPT already. I know they were trying to get the PMPT DoD certified or put on that DoD list, and I think there were some issues, but trying to be very strategic and political. Well, not political, but trying to be very strategic with what I'm saying. Again, if you're doing it because a job requires you to do it, and it's going to help you get that look, and they're going to pay for it, go for it. If you were doing it because you felt like this is what you needed to do to advance, I would tell you do the PMPT, or you could even do the combination of the Security Plus and the Pen Test Plus and get probably more than you would get from the CEH. At least based on when I took the CEH back in, I don't remember how long it was. Um, yeah, he didn't. Yeah, he wasn't able to get the PMPT because it had to be proctored, and they can't do that. Yep. Why wouldn't it make sense to pursue pen testing certs only? Um, I didn't. Like I said, it's not that it's not that it wouldn't make sense. I don't want you don't want to do the same, make the same mistake that I did. So, and again, even when I talk about the CEH, I'm speaking from experience, right? When I got the CEH, I didn't have the right people in my ear telling me, you know, what path I should have went or I should have taken. And then when I got my CEH, I thought I was it. I thought I was him for real. Like I thought I made it. And then I got in the door of like in my first real pen testing gig. And my first real pen testing gig was one of those what they call the pen test puppy mill, where you're just like pumping out pen test after pen test after pen test. And I quickly realized how much I did not know. And it was literally like trial by fire. So after I kind of took a step back, and then I landed another consulting gig, and that's where I learned more about pen testing. And because even when I started pen testing, Active Directory pen testing wasn't really that big. It was just more of doing the same stuff that you're already doing, just in an Active Directory environment. And then it came on after, like years later. But by that time, I had shifted to application security, so I was testing web apps and stuff like that. And then I kind of stayed there for the majority of my cybersecurity career. You were thinking doing the PMPT, OSCP, and then maybe the CRTO. That's not a bad path. I don't think that's a bad path at all. Like I said, if you were doing the CEH because they're going to pay for it and it would help you, whatever, then go for it. But for your own knowledge, I think the path that you're taking is just fine. Yeah. So, and why wouldn't it make sense to just pursue pen testing certs only? Because you want to kind of show that you have a little bit, you have more knowledge. I mean, if you just want to do pen testing and that's where you pretty much know that that's where you're going to stay, then that's fine. And you said your goal is to get to red teaming. That then that's fine. For me, like I said, I was the same way. I figured I was just going to stay in pen testing, and then whether it was network pen testing or application, web app, mobile app, or whatever. So it just all depends on the specialty you're going to. But then I knew at some point I wanted to probably take on more leadership-like roles, maybe management at the time. But management at the time was still college degrees. But I did. So that's how I got the CISSP. And then I also got a cyber forensics certification because I wanted to pivot into forensics. I figured I would learn so when I started my career in tech in general, I worked my way up from like PC bench at Circuit City, worked my way up to help desk, network support, desktop support, then eventually sysadmin. And then I wanted to make sure I knew everything there was to know about network, about systems and stuff like that when I moved over to pen testing. And I moved over to pen testing. At that point I had my Security Plus and my CEH that were security related. I've had a ton of other certifications from Microsoft and CompTIA before that. But then and then I wanted to know as much as I could about pen testing because I wanted to move into forensics. So I really enjoyed digital forensics. But when I was living up north at the time, you needed to work in law enforcement. So you either needed to be a cop or you needed to work for the feds to get a decent paying digital forensics job. And I was already making more as a pen tester. So I wasn't about to stop and then go become law enforcement and go through the whole boot camp and training all over again just so I can get a job in digital forensics. So I stayed as a pen tester, and then I moved. Then I moved to the south, and then when I moved, I started looking at doing more things. Like I said, I started doing stuff around web app pen testing, and then after I did web app pen testing, I moved over to like the AppSec side. So now I'm working with mobile applications, web applications, and then that's where I got introduced to API testing, and I've kind of hovered in that area ever since. Now I shifted back recently. With my last job, I shifted back to network pen testing and doing Active Directory tests, but I'm not with them anymore because screw those guys. And then I'm kind of just weighing my options. Like I'm doing this stuff here, and then I'm kind of freelancing it for the most part. So I'm doing some vulnerability stuff. I'm doing some mobile apps. I'm doing some API. I'm doing a little bit of everything until I really settle in on what I want to do next. But I feel like whatever it is I want to do next has to have a teaching and training element to it. So that's kind of why I'm taking this time out. And then while I'm doing that, I want to focus on building my own stuff. Like I tried to partner with different people. I tried to partner with, I'm not going to name the names. I'm already a LinkedIn learning instructor. But I tried to partner with a couple other organizations, and for whatever reason, it didn't work out. And now I'm just kind of building my own content and doing my own thing. And again, whatever my next phase is, there's definitely going to be a training and teaching element involved. So I've been blessed to, continue to do what I'm doing and make things work somewhat in my favor to try to make that happen. And like I said, I'm gonna build up my own catalog and build up my own experience until I can do that. Chad says you'll take that puppy mill as a second job right now. I 1 out of 5 do not recommend. Burnout is real. Let's see. Then you said the pen tester and the CYSA Plus helps you talk to your clients about their defense. Yeah, I think that's definitely helpful because now you can better recommend remediations to your clients, and you have the cert to prove it. Especially if you're doing the puppy mill or consulting thing, sometimes they don't want to hear you because you're literally just there to check off a box. You went from pen test role to vulnerability management due to company necessity, and now you're currently a lead and love the salary range. No, definitely, man. I started looking at vulnerability management before I left my last role, and I was like, man, they're making. They're up there making senior pen test team lead money, and I'm not saying that one job is easier than the other, but I will definitely say now that I'm kind of doing a little bit with the vulnerability management, I'll definitely say the burnout is still there, but it's definitely not as rapid paced as with pen testing or doing pen testing from a consultant standpoint. I still do CTS, but no contract testing anymore. Guess I'll never say never though. Yeah. Like I said, I take on a couple gigs here and there just because, again, the money's definitely good. And as I'm trying to build out this center, it's definitely sustaining a lot of things. And do I see myself in a scenario where I'm never doing pen testing again? Probably not. I'll probably always have my hand in it, especially with APIs and IoT and stuff like that, just because that still really sparks that itch in the back of my brain. But like I said, I really want to move on to teaching and training the next generation of pen testers, because I feel like so many mistakes were made in my career that I can try to help people avoid those pitfalls. So, and like I said, I just kind of enjoy, bringing that, sharing that knowledge to people, and especially when, you get that moment where they see it and they can see themselves doing it. So, like I said, I don't see myself not doing pen testing at all, but I definitely want to see I see myself doing more of the teaching and training it, and then even with the stuff that I'm researching it, I want to research it and be good at it for the sake of being able to teach it to my classes or whoever it is that I'm teaching. Um, I do think I'm done with the day to day grind of pen testing. Like this last job that I had to leave recently, really I think took that joy out of it for me, or took that away from me, because it was literally like back to back to back to back to back, and then you're dealing with the nonsense and the politics and the BS, and honestly it was just like I was just burned out beyond burnout. And then on top of it, I caught I got sick, caught COVID or whatever it was, and then I started having to deal with the brain fog and all of that nonsense. It was just a rough time. So, like I said, working that last job literally like sucked the joy out of being a pen tester for me in that sense. As far as a consultant side of it, like I'll always be a hacker, I'll always be a researcher, I'll always have that curiosity. But as far as like doing it full time for somebody, they're gonna have to really make me a really good offer. And like I said, and it's gonna have to have a significant amount of teaching and training. Like I would probably say like a 60-40, 70-30 teaching training to actual pen testing. Ricky says, what is the dark side of pen testing that people don't know until you get in it? Just depends on the shop you're in. The gift and the curse of pen testing, like, so for me, I got bored. I got bored with doing help desk and sysadmin work, right? It got to a point where I could troubleshoot on a phone and not even be in front of the computer, and it was just became boring to me. So the what I loved about pen testing is that it's rapidly changing. It's always changing. You can find an exploit today that doesn't work tomorrow, and then you have to find another way in, and then there's the challenge of, tricking a system or tricking people or whatever the case may be. So there's always the element of learning something new, and you never know everything. So that, for me, that was a good thing. For some other pen testers that I know, that was a big factor in them getting burned out. And then the red tape, I would say, the red tape is a pain when you're trying to work on a pen test and you have the client who's trying to, change the scope of the pen test, or, just make things difficult for you. So a lot of the time people look at pen testing and they think, oh yeah, I'm just going to be like Mr. Robot or whatever, and I'm just going to be hacking all day. And the truth of the matter is, when you're on a pen test engagement, especially if you are in the senior roles and you're in the planning phases, a pen testing engagement can last for months. Not that you're actually doing the hands-on stuff, but just whether it's the negotiations, determining the scope and rules of engagement and all of that, dealing with the bureaucracy and the politics depending on the client you have, going through the red tape. Sometimes, again, you deal with some consultancies that know that the client is only doing it to check off a box for compliance purposes, and now they're telling you, hey, let's not go too hard, or there's a lot of BS, or there was a lot of BS. So there's a lot of that as well. And then yeah, I would say just that. I would the BS politics of it, and then it can be tedious sometimes. Other than that, again, depending on the consultancy and depending on your lifestyle, some consultancies, I know they're returning to office now, but another thing that kind of did it for me was I was working for some consultancies that I was actually on the road more than I was home. And for some people that might be cool, but I'm also a father and husband, and I definitely missed, my wife and kids. So that could play a factor in it as well. So if you're in an engagement for months, what are you doing in the meantime? Are there meetings every day? Yeah. So when I say engagement for months, I'm saying you're engaged with the client. You're not actually doing it hands on. Now, if you're doing red teaming is different from pen testing. Red teaming, you can be on a 3-month engagement every day, and you're doing something every day. You're researching whatever, because you're emulating what a real life advanced persistent threat or nation state sponsored attacker would do. So sometimes you could literally be sitting on a system for weeks on end until you figure out what you're going to do, because the the goal of a red team is different from a goal of a pen test. Some of the vulnerabilities and things that you may find on a pen test, you're not going to care about on a red team engagement. Also, red teaming engagements, the scope and the rules of engagement are a lot wider than a regular pen test. So, for example, I've done red team engagements where there was a physical element to it, so I had to figure out how to physically get into a network, or phishing. Everything was in play. So phishing was in play. Whether it was calling, phone phishing, email phishing, trying to get into the building, some type of social engineering to that element. So red teaming is different. But yeah, sometimes if you are on the senior side of a pen testing team, you're meeting with the sales team, you're meeting with the clients. So for example, my last role, I was pretty much on every sales call. Anytime the sales team determined they were about to close a deal, I'm in on that call, telling them what to expect from the pen test. And now we're going back and forth, and then again you're dealing with, now sometimes you're dealing with the negotiations, even down to the price of the pen test. So they're like, oh, well, they want to know if they can get a discount for this. So are you willing to do this, and are you willing to do that? So there was a lot of, there's just a lot of it. And for me, I enjoy doing the pen testing. I enjoy the actual hands-on stuff. I that's why I avoided taking these type of leadership roles, because I knew I didn't want to do it. It's not that I wasn't capable. I just didn't like it. But like I said, for this role, I did that one. This last role that I was at, I did that, and like I said, and that wasn't even so much the problem. It was just the pen test after pen test after pen test. Sometimes doing 2 pen tests at a time, where it. I've done. I feel like I've paid my dues, and I don't want to go through that puppy mill again. I don't have a wife or kids, so I'm fully dedicated to my craft. I'm chasing the skills in the bag. I'm not here to knock nobody's hustle, man. Like, good on you. Again, I would say, if I were your mentor, I would tell you to find something you enjoy outside of pen testing. Find something you enjoy that can take your mind off of it, because, and Chad is here, Napalm is here, it can consume you, at least speaking from experience. It can consume you to the point where, you're just constantly thinking of the next thing, and what's the next move. And again, you find yourself burning out. And for me, again, burnout, every time I got burned out, it gradually got worse. So my goal, my words of advice to you would be, find something that you do that you can do for, maybe 2-3 hours at a time, that can take you away from pen testing. See, like for me, I would do gaming, but I usually gamed in the same area that I was pen testing in, because I have a gaming PC. So I would literally go from here to right here, and then I'm whatever. And then I was so stuck on, I need to get this certification, I need to do this. I was, like you said, chasing the skills in the bag, that I would literally feel guilty if I sat down. Like if I sat down to like actually play a game, and I would like literally turn on, like there was a skit or a meme on Instagram for a while, and I saved it, and I don't have it anymore. But it was literally like the person went to go sit down and play the game, and it was like their conscience started talking to them and cussing at them. That was literally how I felt for the longest, man. It was like it was just crazy. And then eventually, because of that and some other things, like I said, I ended up going, when I started going to therapy and started talking to it with my therapist, they were like, nah, you gotta chill out. You gotta take a break. Check drones, go fly a drone. Yeah, drone. I have a FPV drone. That definitely takes away from everything, because it's like sightseeing on a different level. Sometimes we fly around, and it's like my son would sit there with me, and while we're flying, and he liked to look at some of, like, the rich houses and stuff like that. So we would fly around or whatever, and check out a lot of stuff in the area. Tech pretty much consumes my life right now, but I do have hobbies. Okay, so again, there's nothing wrong with really being engaged with what you're doing. Again, I would just say, make adequate time for yourself. And the funny thing is, when you make time for yourself, it allows your brain to rest, but it also opens up your mind for things like that also can help you with tech. I remember, we took a trip to Disney World, and they used to wear you probably still had the magic bands, but the magic bands, whenever you walked around the park, certain parts it interacted with those bands. So you would go to certain areas and your name would pop up on a screen, or like you went to somewhere and it was like your name was on the marquee or whatever. And I remember, just kind of looking at it, and then that piqued my interest, going, okay, so how's that working? There's got to be some type of API connection going on, whatever. And that was pretty cool. And then my wife can see when my brain starts doing that stuff, so she quickly kind of told me to snap out of it. But like I said, I would just definitely say, speaking from experience, or from my experience, I totally get chasing the bag. I don't knock anybody who wants to chase the bag, but chase the bag the right way. Right? Going back to the conversation we were having about getting CISSP too early. You have a lot of people who, honestly, in my opinion, part of the reason that we had all these tech layoffs is because they were righting the wrongs that they felt they made over the course of the last 2-3 years with hiring so many people. And a lot of these people weren't qualified. And not only were they not qualified, they knew they weren't qualified, going to social media and bragging about not being qualified. You have people on Twitter right now that are literally telling you to lie on your resume because they're just going to teach you the job anyway. This ain't the field for that. So, they're chasing a bag, but they're chasing the bag and they're not doing it the right way. And now what happens is, not only did they not do it the right way, when they got the jobs, they never circled back to learn the skills anyway, or do anything to improve on those skills. So now when they're looking to make these cuts, and I'm not justifying what the tech companies did. I think a lot of the tech companies did these layoffs and it was BS. It was just for the bottom line, just so their budget could look good. But they made it easy for them to make these cuts because these people didn't put in the work that they were supposed to. And now they can't, not only did they get laid off, they can't find the jobs anymore because they don't have the skills. Like if I get laid off today, I'm not really worried about it because I know I have a skill set that I've amassed over time that I can land something fairly soon. So I'm never really worried about not getting a job. Now, how things are going right now with the economy and all of that, the numbers game might be a problem. But I'm never worried about finding work. So that's why I say, if you're going to chase the bag and chase the skills, do it the right way. Yeah, Napalm. No, seriously, like I have been I've been privy to several conversations. Let's put it to you that way. And I know it comes off like conspiracy theory or whatever, but I have sat in some very interesting rooms and and been involved in some not eavesdrop, but been a part of some interesting conversations in the last like 2 years, and it was almost like a lot of us knew it was coming. We just didn't know when. A lot of us knew that there was it was called the purge or the great reckoning, the tech reckoning, because they hired so heavy, and I have a lot of reasons about that, but now's not the time or the place for that conversation. But for one reason or another, a lot of these companies took on different initiatives and hired a ton of people from 2020 to 2022. They hired a ton of people. And like I said, you had some people who were qualified and did what they were supposed to do, but you had a lot of people who were not only getting the jobs that they weren't qualified, sometimes they were taking 2 jobs. I screenshotted one where one person was like, oh, this is my laptop from this job, and this is my laptop from this job, and you're posting it on social media. You had people getting jobs at like Deloitte or other jobs that required you to have a certain level of clearance, and you're posting your follow me to work on TikTok. You're taking pictures of your ID badge, and you're doing all of this. So now 2-3 years later, when they're looking at it and they're going, well, hold on, we done invested in all of these people, and certain funding that they got during COVID and stuff like that for different initiatives dried up. Now they're like, well, deuces. And they laid off a ton of people. And there were a lot of good people that got laid off. Don't get me wrong. There were a lot of dope people who didn't deserve to get laid off that got laid off. But there were also a lot of people who probably shouldn't have gotten the roles that they got. Not that they shouldn't have gotten a job. They probably shouldn't have gotten the roles that they got. Like there was one guy, I remember there was one guy, they told him to go straight for the cloud architect certification from AWS. And the platform that he was on, because I'm not going to name the platform, but the platform that he was on is notorious for having people slide in your DMs and basically give you brain dumps. So this individual took the brain dump, got his cloud solutions architect certification, and then figured he was going to go get a job as a cloud architect. Problem is he had no experience and could not get hired. And then he went on social media asking, how do I get a junior cloud architect job? There's no such thing. There's no such thing, right? So you can't jump the line. You can't jump the line. There's no speeding up the process. Get the hands on. Again, using pen testing as an example, I tell people, get your network plus, get your security plus, and between those two, that should give you a solid understanding of basic networking and basic security. Then you can go PMPT, you can go pen test plus. If you have to do CEH, go to CEH route, whatever. Well, after you get one of those certifications, sit your ass still for about six months to a year and and just grind it out, getting the hands-on knowledge. Lab, try Hack Me, Hack the Box. I don't know. I know OSCP changed their model, but the OSCP, the class that they used to do, the pen testing class that they used to do for the OSCP, that was a great training as well. But get the hands-on experience. Like really hunker down. I say 6 months, but you probably don't need 6 months if you're going to do it every day. But get the hands-on experience. Then, okay, cool. Now let's say I'm gonna go for the OSCP. I'm gonna go for the G-Pen. And with these jobs now, hopefully you have a job that will pay for you to get them to like what Ricky was saying. And now now you're not coming out of pocket to get it, but you have to get the hands-on experience. You have to get the hands-on experience. Otherwise, you're just paper certified. That's it. Is there a particular industry that pays the best with the best benefits? I assume fintech is probably the most strenuous but financially rewarding. AppSec in general pays really well. Like when I left corporate the first time, I went from corporate to fintech, and that was like an AppSec role, and that was a bag jump. If this were a year and a half to 2 years ago, I would say crypto. But that's no longer, not that it's no longer a thing, but the crypto apps that were popping up left and right, they were also paying big money, because crypto was one of the few startup spaces that wanted to take security seriously from day one. How do I say this? Usually with a lot of apps and a lot of startups, they are rushing to go to market. So security is usually an afterthought. And then after a while, they'll go, oh, we should probably go back and secure it. And now you have to go back and secure it. In the crypto space, they wanted, it was similar to that, but it wasn't like a big gap. So they were doing it, and then they would say, hey, we need to bring security in, obviously because of the volatility of crypto and all of that. So that was a big market. Fintech's a big market. As we move into more medical-based apps, that's going to be a big market. So just the application space is definitely going to be a big one. You have your managed service providers and stuff like that. But in my opinion, the application space. I work for a large consulting firm. They had an RAF. Most of what I saw was recent graduates or benchers. Yeah, like I don't know. There's like I said, it's just a weird time right now because they laid off a ton of people, but then last month they went on a big hiring blitz. But the one thing I did notice with the big hiring blitz is that the salaries there's definitely a difference in salaries now. Jobs that were paying 150, 175 are now more like trying to go back down to like 120, 130. Just from what I've seen. Or if they are paying the big money and they are paying the big bag, the list of requirements that they have now is almost like they got you doing 2 to 3 different jobs than what it was, again, a couple of years ago. Like I said, I know some people are saying the economy and whatever, but I found that to be really interesting when, like I said, not even 2 years ago, people were getting well over $225K just to be a senior pen tester. Now, there are some roles that are still paying for that, but there's a lot more involved than what it was a couple of years ago. I've noticed that they aren't paying the same amount of money. Yeah, no, they definitely aren't. They most definitely are not paying the same amount of money for some of these roles. Now, again, going back to what I was saying, this is why it's important to make sure you have those hands-on skills and experience, because now you can negotiate that. Because no one is going to take a pay cut, right? Unless there's something else going on, like unless you're giving up something or you're taking a part-time gig or whatever. No one's taking a massive pay cut to do the same job, right? Like, I'm not going to be senior pen tester and researcher to take another job that's senior pen tester. I'm not moving laterally and taking less money. So, but they will try. They will definitely, they're like, oh, well, you don't quite have all of these, but if you stay here for 18 months, we'll give you, get what you're worth up front. Don't negotiate it, because 9 times out of 10, that 12 to 18 months, when that window hits, they're going to turn around and they're going to move the goalposts. Sorry, that's just the truth. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna wrap it up in a little bit, because I'm gonna head out to this this esports practice. But if anybody has a couple more questions, just let me know. So, before I do that, again, I am doing that intro to ethical hacking workshop on Saturday. Here's the Eventbrite link for that. I'm also doing. I've also partnered with Haiku. So Haiku is a video game that teaches cybersecurity concepts and cybersecurity skills. I do that stream once a week. I'll probably do that stream either tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm not 100% sure yet. I gotta lock down that schedule, but I think that's a really cool experience. I'll be streaming that again here on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitch, whatever. At least until I make Twitch affiliate, and then I can't, and then I'm not allowed to do that anymore. And then I'm gonna get back to some of the CTF stuff. Again, I have. And Ricky, are you gonna be here? Are you gonna be here in person? If you're gonna be here in person, pull me. Make sure we talk after the class. I have an idea of something. Chad, no, you have to. They did change the rules on multi-streaming. That's why I said we'll see what happens with affiliate. Okay. Like I said, if only if you are, I don't want you to come out of your way if you're planning on doing it remote. I have to get the list of people who are doing it in person. But I got something really cool that I think I'm going to do, and I think it's going to be something that I'll probably do either live or just through a series of content that I'm going to create that is going to lead down an interesting career choice or career path that is still going to be around pen testing, but it's going to be a path that very few are doing. Not that they're not doing it. Just stay tuned, right? I have something that I'm really thinking about. Something that I thought about. Honestly, I came up with maybe last week, and then I just kind of been thinking about it and brainstorming and whiteboarding and all of that. So we're gonna have it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be real interesting. It's gonna involve pen testing. It's gonna involve different aspects of pen testing. So we're gonna touch on network, application, web app, mobile, API, IoT, cloud. And we talk about chasing skills and chasing bags. I think this will be something that'll be real cool. So, they're starting to all affiliates within this past week. All right, well, I guess I'll have to either stream on Twitch and then upload the VODs to everywhere else, or stream everywhere else and then upload it to Twitch. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But until then, like I said, y'all stay safe. Make sure, if y'all haven't done so already, wherever you're watching, please follow so you can be alerted. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to YouTube and then click the bell for notifications so when I do go live, you'll be notified. Like I said, we got a lot of cool things going on. I got a lot of cool things going around with esports and cybersecurity, and so I'm really excited about what we're building and what's going to happen. I'm saying it's going to happen because I'm trying to stay positive, even though it's tough right now. I've been sitting here rocking with y'all for an hour and I haven't had anybody walk in yet. But like I said, if you know any ladies who are interested and they are in the area, we are doing Girls Game 2 tonight. Every Monday from 6 to 8, we close it down, and it's a safe space for women of all ages to come game, talk about their experiences, create content, and just have a blast. And then Saturdays we do our Fortnite League from 11 to 1, and then I do my classes in the afternoon. I also rent the space out for podcasting, private events, birthday parties. I had a University of Georgia group come over here the other day and watch the game while they can play games. So we're doing a bunch of stuff around that too. Like I said, it's going to be a great time, and we're doing some things in the community leading up to the holidays. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, man, thanks for rocking out with me. I appreciate y'all coming back. It was pretty cool with the Q&A session, and I'll see y'all later. Hold on, my girl doesn't live too far, so more than likely I'll be there. Hey, like I said, if you planned on being here, cool. If not, we can always link up some other time. But it is what it is. You know what? So, like I said, y'all stay safe. Y'all take it easy. I'm gonna go holla at these kids and see y'all.